Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today I'm doing essentially a follow-up video, but not necessarily a follow-up video, to my video that I made on it being time for you to step into your greatness. Okay, so this video is for you if you are feeling like there is no greatness inside of you, if you're feeling like you're in some emotional pit, if you're feeling really down, if you're feeling really depressed, if you're feeling like you've lost yourself, if you're feeling... I will get into it as I go along in this video, but essentially this video is for you if that video on it being time to step into your greatness really felt like it did not resonate with you and it made you actually feel bad to think about that, okay? So if you are someone who's sitting there being like, I have greatness inside of me and I'm afraid to step into it, I've linked the video down below for the greatest one, go watch that one, okay? If you are feeling like you are in a depressive state, if you are feeling like you are in a hole, if you are feeling like, even if you are feeling like you are doing spiritual practices and you feel like you're making progress in your life and things are happening, but you continue to kind of crash and have depressive episodes, or you feel like no matter what you do, no matter what you try, no matter how many spiritual teachings you listen to, no matter how many spiritual teachers you listen to, no matter how much positive thinking you try and do, all of that stuff, it just doesn't work. Like you just feel like you continue to feel bad about yourself, like you continue to doubt that there's anything awesome about you, like you just feel pain and sadness and low-level anxiety or depression or high-level anxiety or depression, or just like you just want to give up, this video is for you, okay? So first thing that I want to say is that I have been there, okay? I've been in that pit many times. And that pit of despair and that pit of just feeling hopeless or helpless or like life is never going to change or like it doesn't really matter what you do, you still feel terrible, you still feel shitty, you still feel down. I hear you because I've been there, right? And it's a really hard place to be, and I know that the typical kind of reaction to being in that place is to try and fix it, right? Like you want to fix yourself. You really want to do something to make yourself feel better or to make yourself better in general. And a lot of the advice that you probably hear from spiritual teachers or from self-help experts or even just your friends and your family is like, you know, get over it, or like think positive, or, you know, listen to Wayne Dyer, listen to Louise Hay, and just like motivate yourself, or like can't you just get yourself out of this, and da 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 da. And I believe that that's exactly the opposite advice that you need right now, okay? So what I'm going to say in this video is probably going to sound a little bit like, I don't know if I should trust this girl. I don't know that I should actually do what she's saying because it seems really scary to do what she's going to say. But I just want you to know that, again, this is coming from a place of absolute experience and like working with a lot of people, and I know, I've seen that this works, okay? So basically what I'm going to say here is that when you are in that down state, and when you are like, especially if you are the kind of person who is trying so hard to get yourself out of it, who's doing all the self-help stuff, who's tried, like who's done the courses, done the meditations, you've done the videos, you've listened to hours and hours and hours of these motivational speakers, you've read the books, maybe you were even someone who felt like you healed yourself in the past and like had gone through a whole bunch of stuff, and you like feel like you have come to a new level and then you crashed again. If you're in this place, the number one thing you need to do for yourself is to stop telling yourself that you shouldn't be where you are, okay? And again, I know that this is scary because I know that even for myself, right, but you feel like to give yourself permission to be where you are and to stop trying to fight your way out of it can feel and sound like you're giving up and like you're going to be there forever, right? Like you're just resigning yourself to be in this shitty state forever. And what I want you to know is that the paradox here is that when you give yourself permission to actually be where you are and to just say, okay, like I'm going to be here for as long as I'm going to be here, I'm going to stop fighting, I'm going to stop trying, I'm going to stop all of these things that are just not working, I'm just going to let myself be here. That, first and foremost, is so powerful, okay? Because again, there's a reason that your negative emotions are trying to take over your life right now. And it's not to try and ruin your life, okay? And so like I say, I have lots of videos where I talk about how there's messages in your negative emotions. emotions. And sometimes that is fully true. Sometimes there really is like a negative belief or a negative thought pattern or something that's going on there, and your negative emotion is trying to alert you to that. Sometimes, okay, and this is why I say this, sometimes your negative emotions are there to teach you how to love yourself even when you're down, okay? And this is like advanced self-love, right? This is the self-love that no one ever wants to talk about because it's not pretty and it's not shiny and it's not something that's like you try and then your life just gets so much better tomorrow and everything's great now. Like, this is like hardcore self-love, okay? Because it is such a huge common thing in our society that we are ashamed of ourselves when we feel down. That we feel like I shouldn't be down, I shouldn't feel sad, I shouldn't feel depressed, I shouldn't feel bad about myself, I shouldn't have this self-loathing, I shouldn't have this anxiety, I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be doing this. And it's embarrassing, and it's almost like, it's like crippling, like we're so ashamed of ourselves when we're in these negative states. And basically what I want to say is, when you can learn to love yourself in that, when you don't have the energy to be nice to people, when you don't have the energy to go out and like do stuff, when you don't have what it takes anymore to just like put on a happy face and pretend like everything's fine, when you can't read any more self-help books and try the practices and blah, 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 when you get to the end of your rope and you're just done with all of that shit, that is when self-love becomes the most real that it's ever going to be, right? When you are not shiny and happy and beautiful and brilliant and showing this like side of your, like this triumph side of yourself, this hero's journey on the other side. When you can be with yourself and say, okay, you know what? I'm here. I'm down. I don't have what it takes. I don't want to anymore. I don't want to try. I don't want to keep doing it. I don't want to be happy. I just don't want to be better. I just feel shitty. And that's okay, right? I just am going to let myself be here. And so what I want you to do is to treat yourself how you would imagine the most loving, nurturing, feminine mother would treat a small child who just fell and scraped their knee, okay? Because that mother is not going to go up to that small child and tell them, stop crying, you shouldn't be sad, this isn't that big of a deal, you should heal by now, like what's wrong with you, you're silly, you're stupid, try harder, think positive. Like, that mom is not going to do that. She's going to pick that little child up in her arms, she's going to hold that child, she's going to kiss that little child's scrape, and she's going to hold him until he feels better, right? Until he feels like he's ready to go off and play again. And that is what you need to do for yourself, okay? And again, this is self-love, like advanced PhD level, right? This is self-love in that I'm not going to try and make myself better. I'm not waiting until I'm happy again before I'll give myself permission to love me. I'm not waiting until I feel all on top of the world like I want to inspire everyone until I give myself some love and some compassion and some understanding, right? This is what your negative emotion in this state is trying to teach you, is how to be with yourself and to love yourself when you can't, when you won't, when you don't feel good, and when nothing that you do makes you feel good. That is when you just need to stop, take all the pressure off yourself, and you say, okay, I'm going to be here for as long as I'm here, but for so long as I am here, I'm just going to validate that I feel shitty. I'm not going to tell myself that I shouldn't, and then I'm just going to ask myself, what do I need to feel safe? What do I need to feel loved? And literally, if that's to hide under the covers, you do that, and you don't shame yourself for doing that, okay? You just give yourself permission. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission. You be so nice to yourself, okay? That pressure that you need to be different lifts. And eventually, you will feel better, okay? Eventually, you will come out of this place and you will feel like living life again. But a lot of the time, our emotions and your inner self won't let you move on until you prove to you that you can love you and respect you and honor you and validate you when you've got nothing, right? And then when you can do that, all of a sudden, everything that's going to happen to you once you feel better, because again, you will feel better eventually, everything that's going to happen to you after that, you won't rely on that stuff as the means to the end of feeling good about yourself. You're going to know that you know that you know that even when you're at your bottom, you can love you. And then everything else for the rest of your life is going to be so much less scary. You're not going to be so dependent on a relationship, on an accomplishment, on being a sparkly personality. You're going to be so grounded inside of yourself, just knowing that when you are nothing, when you have nothing to give, when you can't even give to yourself, that you can still love you, that you can still nourish you, that you can validate you, you will feel so secure in this life, it's not even funny. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. If you feel like you're in your pit, stop trying to get out. Don't listen to spiritual teachers unless it really actually brings you relief. Don't read spiritual books unless it really actually gives you relief. Don't tell yourself you should be different. You should be somewhere else. You should be better. You should be over it by now. That mother would not do that to that child. Okay? You hold you in your arms with love and compassion and understanding until you're ready to go on again. And until that happens, you are just nice to you. You just validate you. I feel shitty, that's okay. I feel angry, that's okay. I feel depressed, that's okay. What do you need to feel safe? What do you need to feel loved? And that's it. Okay? So, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. And again, this is the part of the self-love journey no one talks about because it's not fancy, it's not shiny, it's not immediate results, it's not great, right? It's down and it's scary and it hurts and it's hard, right? And this is a practice, and you warm up to it because you're gonna try and be nice to yourself in that place, and then you're gonna be like, no, I can't do this, right? And you're gonna try it over and over and over and over and over, and eventually you'll get it, okay? And that's all that you have to do. You just have to be with you. You just have to be with you, because the absolute #1 secret to healing is unconditional approving presence for yourself wherever you are. So if you can get there, and you will if you practice, you will heal. Okay? So questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I love hearing from you. Like, subscribe, find me on Facebook, Perception Trainers. Find me on Instagram, ally_Perception Trainers. And yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you later.